Drugs in sport. Drugs have been prevalent in the sporting world for decades. With the IOC originally banning the use of performance-enhancing drugs in 1967. Yet since then, all we have seen is an increase in the unlawful use of performance-enhancing drugs to gain an edge over in the extremely competitive opposition in the constant fight for first. These drugs unfortunately create an unfair playing field which rips victories from the rightful athletes who train their bodies and minds tirelessly to become their peak physical ability, pushing the boundaries of the human body. Despite this, drug takers, drug takers still outbeat these hard-working players due to how drugs allow athletes to accelerate performance at tremendous rates that physical training cannot compare to. These drugs tarnish the victories of sporting victors, leaving the constant lingering question in the spectator's mind to if the victors have taken performance-enhancing drugs and rightfully deserve their praise. Due to the massive gap these drugs created between athletes, some athletes feel pressured into taking drugs by themselves, by their coaches, or even by other athletes, so they can even the playing field, allowing them to compare to the other drug-fueled athletes, creating an endless cycle of pressure upon the athletes to partake in these substances, such as steroids and anabolic and androgenetic steroids, which are known to build and strengthen muscles while simultaneously reducing the percentages of fat in the body. Due to the constant fight for first, which many athletes have openly stated they would literally die for, many of these athletes do not take recommended safe doses, opting to take higher quantities of drugs such as steroids to gain an edge over the other drug-taking athletes, resulting in extremely unsafe amounts of drugs being taken by these athletes, raising the danger of overdoses and other countless health concerns. Arguments for drugs in sport. On the other hand, many people argue that drugs have many positives to offer to the sporting world. For instance, many people believe that drugs allow athletes to push themselves to pursue higher, faster, and better results, pushing the limits of the human body further than ever perceived possible before. One such argument provided by Sam Sussler, professor of dermatology at Newcastle University, stated, "What is more fair, the use of teams using sport specialists or a simple pill? What is the difference between training at altitude and taking ibuprofen to achieve similar effects?" Highlighting to us the matter of this that is there truly a difference between the use of drugs and the use of specialized sporting technology, as they offer extremely similar results? The sporting industry would never ban the advancement of technology that give athletes advantages over others who may not have access to the new and greatest technology. So why do we ban drugs that do the same thing? Furthermore, a compelling argument that drug support drug supporters often put forward is how drugs, if to be legal, could be supervised by medical professionals to decrease the risks that could occur when inexperienced people take drugs incorrectly, which we can suggest would decrease deaths and injuries caused by these drugs. We can compare the situation of drugs in sport to that of alcohol. When alcohol was banned in the early 19th century in England to combat the drinking problem of the time, consumptions of alcohol did not decrease. It was merely pushed underground into the production of lethal homemade concoctions that posed greater risks to the consumer, increasing deaths from alcohol. Therefore, the only way to help the matter of drugs in the sporting industry is to support its players and provide them with safe, legal, regimented doses of these drugs. Additionally, if these drugs were supported, increased research and development could be placed into improving them to make them safer and more effective by medical professionals.